What's up, guys? It's Friday night, and we are coming at you with another Nydus League match. Hopefully they all show up. I haven't had too many responses from Mr. Hyde here yet. Has yet to actually join into anything. I'm gonna chill out and wait for a bit. Message over here to say we're ready when he is. And we'll be right back with you. As soon as we can get this first match started, we'll be on the way. However, we're just kind of hanging out here waiting for them to respond. Hopefully this isn't going to be a flop. Hopefully everybody shows up. It is 9:32. I'm going to give it to about 9:40, 9:45 before I go and pull this up at Tech 4 and send a message over to them to say, hey, they didn't show. Just in case that is an option. Hopefully it won't be. We'll be right back here very soon. Okay, guys, we finally have Formless Bear Sloths showing up for the game tonight. Just waiting on the all good from them to get this show on the road. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are now spawning into game number 1 of the matchup of Formless Bear Sloths versus Insight Gaming. And spawning into the top right hand corner of Verdure Temple is the red Zerg pieces from Insight Gaming. It is Xerxes. Spawning into the bottom left hand corner is the blue Zerg pieces from Formless Bear Sloths. It is Visor. So already we're kicking it off with a mirror match here tonight of ZVZ. Well, probably one of the best macro maps in the pool for tonight. Things to note about this map real quick is there are a lot of rocks around the map. We have some rocks sitting out here inside the natural here. For wall-off purposes, can make it very annoying. We do have a spawning pool first coming down for Xerxes versus the hatch first for Visor. Also in the middle of the map, we do have some rocks that kind of block the pathing as you go across. You can open that up, make it a little bit more of an open-based map. Generally gets kind of ignored, however. We do have a drone scout coming out here. You'll see that there is a hatchery going down here. He will be able to spot that this will be a pretty similar build to his own. However, spawning pool does start up a little bit further behind. It does have gas starting up, which means it will end up being a very similar build. However, except Xerxes is looking to be the more of an aggressive player, as he does have his pool done first. Something he always ends up doing is being that little bit more of an aggressor. Drone here is just going to make his way around the map and will eventually just head right back home. While Overlord's going to get positioned outside the naturals of each base just to make sure no cheeky lings can sneak out. First queen is on the way. Spawning pool is about to finish her Visor. But until we get any lings on the map, not much is going to be going on. Speed has started up for Xerxes. But he will have that slight speed advantage, if only for a second, as he does have his first 4 lings for Visor on the way. Actually interesting, because Xerxes has yet to make any lings having to... Okay, he did get a Baneling Nest behind this, but having that spawning pool, I think he will see a few more lings pop out here sooner. Either way, it looks like Xerxes is just going to drone up. The lings are finally on the way as Baneling Nest is about halfway done. Speed's about halfway done for both players. No Baneling Nest just yet for our blue Zerg, as he is just going to continue to mass up some lings here. Baneling Nest is going to get thrown down in the natural here. Like a little bit more of a defensive Baneling Nest, actually, just to cut down some surface area. As we do have the scouting lings for Xerxes making their way across the map. Gonna get up here to see if there is a handful of lings. It should actually be able to spot this Baneling Nest in the natural, which he will end up doing. But the lings are going to get trapped here and get picked off. But he did get the see that there is indeed a Baneling nest, as his own speedlings are going to make a way across the map. Speed about to finish, Baneling nest about to finish for Visor. Xerxes should start morphing his Banelings outside the base here very shortly, as the Ling Bling battle will quickly begin, as 2 Banelings are on the way for Xerxes. Let's finish up. We do have a lot of Lings rallying across the map here. For Xerxes, Xerxes is going to push in here and be the aggressor, try and get a detonation on one of these Banelings as the first battle begins. The first Baneling hit for Xerxes is actually a pretty big one there. Takes about half the Zerglings off the map here. This probably could be a very crucial Baneling hit already. Cleaning up the last of the Lings, Xerxes is going to surge forward here. Xerxes is actually trying to pick off this last Baneling before he goes in here, but a huge detonation of Visor's own swings the momentum right back into a manageable situation, as he is going to make his way into the drone line and detonate and get 4 drones with these 2 Banelings. Visor realizes there's no more army on the map just yet, or coming across the map. He's going to make his own counterattack here. And his own Lings out. Xerxes already with more Lings on the way. Going to get that creep spread started as well. Lings are actually going to end up bypassing each other. Xerxes is going to see everything coming into his base, but meanwhile these are going to swing around behind here and try and clean up the rest of this army of Visor out in the middle of the map. There are a lot of Zerglings on the high ground here. They're going to come down here and join this fight very quickly. Once again, we now have Ling versus Ling battles going on. Banelings are finished up here in the middle of the map, looking like they're trying to cut off these Zerglings before they make it home. A couple more Banelings are going to get morphed here for Xerxes, and there's actually nothing back here in the natural just yet defending, except for these handful of Lings that finally made it back home. Xerxes, if he catches this, he can actually make a play with this. He is going to get in here, not getting the surface area he needs, and Baneling's not here to capitalize on that fight. He is going to be able to shave off some of these Zerglings. These 2 bands are going to make their way forward and try and clean this up. Looks like they're making their way into the drone line once again. How many drones he gets this time, as they are stacking up very nicely. Another 4 drones killed, as a couple more Banelings from Xerxes are morphing in. Banelings here are going to make their way out and detonate on top of this Ling pack and try and clean up as many of these Lings as they can. Give you some very nice connections there, actually. Xerxes is going to walk right on top of this army. One slip up on the micro here, and all these Zerglings are going to go boom. He is going to make his way to the mineral line. Xerxes trying to find that connection he's looking for. But in the main, however, he is going to pick up another 10 drones. And that should prompt, basically, the end of this game, as Xerxes is just going to continue to Ling swarm across the map. Good detonation there, however, from these Banelings may actually keep him alive. Visor alive a little bit longer. There's a Baneling detonation coming in here. Going to clean up the last of the Lings for Visor. GG will be called, and Xerxes will take game number 1. Alright guys, get your friends in here, get everybody in here, get this show on the road. We'll be right back with game number 2. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for game number 2. The time rep is there. Alright, we're good. Spawning into the bottom left-hand corner, currently up or down in this series, is a purple Zerg pieces from one of his bear sloths. It is Mr. Hyde himself. Spawning into the top right-hand corner of Mujo Gardens is the red Zerg pieces from Insight Gaming, currently up 1-0 in this series for his team. Pulling that extractor trick, it is Xerxes. I actually thought I left my mic off that entire last cast. Last game. Scary though. So Xerxes coming off from game number 1 there. That's a Ling Bling play. Very well controlled, getting some huge detonations on them drone lines. As well as some Zerglings as well. That Divisor didn't pick up any crazy detonations himself. I think he just had a little bit bit of an economic disadvantage than Banelings. Eventually he just lost his control out after that. But anyway, we have our Overlords floating across the map here, getting into position. Both players opening up hatch gas pool. Finally getting his spawning pool started. So it's a little bit behind, but not matter too much. That both players do have their hatcheries down. Look like they both want to play more of an economic game, so hopefully we get past that Ling Bling phase and into the Roach Wars. DBZ is always over in about 5 minutes or less, if not. What it feels like anyway. There's not much is going on. But in the meantime, we're going to look at this majestic waterfall up here in this corner. How majestic it is. Look at them lily pads just kind of like hanging out here. Such a majestic waterfall. The spawning pools are finishing up here. Two lings from each player are already popping out. We're going to pop out here. Queens have started up. Speed this time is slightly in favor of Xerxes. No speed as of yet for Mr. Hyde. Doesn't quite have that gas there for it. Does start it up immediately, however. Xerxes will have the slight speed advantage here as his lings do make his way across the map. There are 4 lings out here to defend. Both players sending out them scouting lings to try and get in here and see if they can't figure out exactly what their opponent is up to. Overlord here will catch them, however, as they do make their way across. 2 more. An Evo Chamber being added on here for Xerxes, actually. Kind of an interesting choice. It might actually be to cut down on the surface area as well. He's still only on 1 gas. This looks like it might actually be for a Carapace upgrade. To give these Banelings that extra health as they try to find the connection here and not die out as quickly to other Banelings. As Mr. Hyde actually got all the way into the main, it didn't look like Xerxes lost anything there. 2 units killed each. No workers killed. Poor Ling lost its buddy. He's going to make his way home. Be like, Mama Queen, heal me up. Speed does kick in for Xerxes. Failing this on the low ground from Mr. Hyde, so that been scouted, I do believe. I believe Xerxes spotted that. Yeah, he did. So we do have... Alright, so it looks like Xerxes is going to kick right into the Roach phase. Going down a couple extra, another gas. He's going to get that +1 missile started. Roachhorn is on the low ground here to help wall off the natural a bit in case any Zerglings try to make their way into the natural here. Both we do have 12 lings and +1 melee on the way for Mr. Hyde. So Mr. Hyde looking to be very aggressive here. As he is beginning to rally across the map. First roaches are on the way, however, so Xerxes should be able to hold on here. However, this will get scouted as Mr. Hyde does make his way into behind the natural mineral line here. A couple of lings. Just trying to get that scouting information to see if there is any army. So he's trying to hit the timing just before his Roach Warren fully kicks in as the roaches will pop out. Only 2 so far, or queued up right now, but there are 4 on the map. And he should be able to hold on here. Xerxes should be able to tuck in here and prevent any kind of real crazy economic damage being done as he is looking to take his 3rd base before this attack hits. Will get scouted by the Overlords floating above his 3rd base location. However, the army to the south is the actual big kicker here. Does Xerxes see this army? No, he doesn't see this army to the south just yet. But he is getting his roaches out. +1 air is about to finish up, which should put him in a +1 air, +1 range actually. +1 missile attack for the ground units. Zergling's going to come up here and get a scout and see if there is a third base down and get over here and try and draw them out of position. Looks like Xerxes will end up having to cancel this third base as Mr. Hyde does get a huge surround with these Zerglings. Will not actually, in fact, get finished off. Thanks for the follow, Cabers. Meanwhile, we did have a Baneling pull or a detonation in the mineral line here, killing off 7 drones and a surround on these roaches. That going in Xerxes' favor already as the Banelings once again are just going to make their way into the main base. But these roaches are getting cleaned up very quickly as this Spine Caller does finish up. But is it enough to hold on here? Is Xerxes getting some more roaches out here to defend? And he does end up cleaning up the Banelings before they could get into the main mineral line. So already avoiding any more economic damage done as he is producing more and more roaches. But +1 Carapace is on the way here for Mr. Hyde to make sure these lings can have. And he is just going to bypass the roaches, making his way right into the main mineral line. Getting on top of this mineral line here. He's going to start picking off as many of these drones as he can. The queen is going to end up falling here. The roaches are going to end up saving this, but not before 2 drones. And the queen does stay alive, but with 23 HP. Xerxes looking to be the aggressor on the other side of the map now. Did send out some lings to try and counterattack and draw his attention away from his own base. Roach speed is about to finish up. Army supply in favor of Xerxes. Worker count is indeed also in favor of Xerxes, but the thing is, Mr. Hyde did get his third base down. Xerxes looking to retake that third base. As however, these reinforcement of lings are going to come over here and once again force this cancel. At this point, I think Xerxes just needs to take his third base to the south base location here so that he can actually defend that a little bit easier. As the distance between the two is more in favor of that location. It's either that or he's got to mass up enough roaches to be able to push across the map here, as it is just Ling Tech as a Roach Warren for Mr. Hyde did finally finish up. He is going to start adding on a couple extra gases himself. Mr. Hyde looking to posture up again outside this third base location. Does Xerxes have the army here to defend? I think he does, and it is 50 to 23 in the army supply. The worker count is still heavily in favor of Xerxes. It's only a matter of time before he decides to push out. His Big Mama Queen here is just going to start picking at this Overlord to make sure it can't be in a nuisance of scouting anymore. He is going to seek the roaches underneath that vision to push out here. He wants to get down here and try and find some damage on his own on this third base location of Mr. Hyde. As a Roach War is about to kick in full swing, but already Xerxes is going to be at that +2 attack. Picking off some very good wings there. Swing that armor supply back in his favor. It is 73 to 37. The third base is going to get evacuated, which means he will not try to save this third base location. Xerxes will get the kill on this as some roaches are popping out here. Broodling's trying to pick off one of these roaches, but the roaches will stay alive and make it into the natural base location of Mr. Hyde. Army supply is still 81 to 47. +2 attack about to finish up for Xerxes. Roach speed finally on the way for Mr. Hyde. It looks like Xerxes is going to attempt to just push in here. We're picking off this Overlord. Roach Ravager comp is going to make its way in here. He's going to try and tuck in into this corner. These things can't get a good surround, and he will be able to take this fight as more roaches do rally across the map. Army supply continuing to swing in Xerxes' favor. 89 to 48. But defender's advantage hopefully can kick in here as the roach reinforcements are about to pop out. Xerxes trying to pick off the tech at the front. The Roach Warren of Mr. Hyde. The Baneling that's also very exposed. And he will just win this fight against the army. And that should prompt the GG here soon. There it is. GG is called once again. And Xerxes goes up 2-0 in the series. Already prompting that Masters player to come out for Formless Bear Sloths. We'll be right back with game number 3. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again for game number 3 in the series. Currently up 2-0 as Inside Gaming was spawning into some pink Zerg pieces for Formless Bear Sloths. It is Calmo, the first Masters player coming out here for Formless Bear Sloths. Xerxes, the top left hand corner, is the red Zerg pieces. Taking this series 2-0 so far in the Diamond Division. Once again, pulling that extractor trick as we do have another ZVZ on our hands on the only map in the Nydus pool to actually make it into the actual ladder map for this season. Interloper. Once again, a lot of rocks around this map that block off some vision. Opens up the map a little bit, killing these off. Also kind of block your opponent out of this top base location here if they were to expand that way. By killing off the rocks here, it does cause the choke to be closed off as well. Do have a hatch first going down this time for Calmo versus the spawning pool first of Xerxes. It looks like Xerxes is willing to be the aggressor. This is one of his preferred maps. Every time we get him in here and he has to play second, he does call for this map to be called. So, that being said, we'll see exactly what he has in store for us as he does go for the hatchery behind this. So already, it looks like he's going for that Ling Bling play that he used in the first game. Spawning pool is on the way for Calmo, which is actually quite a bit behind here. So if Xerxes hits this right, he can actually get in here and get a few drones of his own. Looks like he is going to start adding on his Zerglings finally. Calmo's spawning pool is starting to finish up, so he should be able to defend any kind of cheeky plays in the early game. Are we already in favor of Xerxes 3-0? 4-0 now. Queens being added on, Zerglings being added on as we are going to start getting in here. And already the Baneling Nest coming down for Xerxes, so he is going into that Ling Bling play. Going to be the aggressive player here. Hatcheries are about to finish up. Keep in mind the natural hatchery has already been taken for Calmo, so he does have the ability to defend down here. Scoutlings are just going to ignore each other as they do make their way in here. Xerxes trying to figure out exactly what information he can find, and he does actually miss the Baneling Nest scout. It's actually rather interesting, but he doesn't see it in the main, so he has to assume with no roach worn down that there would be a Baneling Nest. Of course, last week he did get cheesed out the other night through a roach play. He actually is just going to pull these overlords back a little bit. Did you even see this go down? Yeah, he did see it go down, so he has to assume that that's a roach worn or a Baneling Nest. On the other side of the map, speed is about to finish up for Calmo. Xerxes is going to begin his flood of lings across the map here. Already got about 8 of them making their way into the natural base location here. Spawning pool or spawning crawl is being added on. Evo chamber being added on to try and hold this as these lings are getting good position here. This queen tucked in here should end up falling as these lings can just continue to throw themselves at this queen. But before that spawning crawler finishes up, should be able to clean up a good bit of these. More lings being added on as a lot of Xerxes lings are actually getting trapped and getting chased down here. But it does reinforce fast enough. A couple banelings being added on right here in front of Xerxes. Xerxes not able to pick them off as the ling battle continues, but army supply still 18-14 in favor of Xerxes as 16 more lings are about to finish up. And he does throw down a huge amount of banelings. The detonation comes down, getting a decent connection there, cleaning off a few lings. Xerxes losing his lings here, as he is going to get pushed back into his own natural. A few lings being added on here for Calmo. As our pink Zerg player is going to push in here on top of his natural base location. Banelings need to finish up in time. Xerxes trying to buy time for him to finish. One is going to finish up. Oh, so close. It's going to be a huge detonation there. As the 2 Banelings of Calmo do get picked off. A couple more being added on. However, Xerxes needs to find that Baneling connection to swing this back in his favor. It looks like he will do just that, but not before another Baneling connection goes down from their pink Zerg player Calmo, swinging the army supply into his favor, 16-14. As Xerxes rallying out another 16 workers, or 16 lings here, as +1 melee is almost finished up for our pink Zerg player. He does catch some of these lings out in the middle. The surface area isn't his favorite, but these banelings getting pretty close to finishing up. Be disastrously they do. Xerxes does able to clean them up very easily. He does morph a couple Banelings in of his own as he continues to push her back out on the Grand Bat. No third base down for Xerxes, as we do for our Pink Zerg combo. He has taken his third. But if he can defend here, he'll be in a very good position. He's trying to bait these Lings away, but trying to also shave off some Lings of his own with his own Banelings. The Ling Blink control, man, is like absolutely insane to deal with. Xerxes could have just detonated right there and cleaned up about 5 Lings of himself. Trading Banelings for Banelings, always a good idea. But as more Banelings get morphed in here, it's going to come down to how soon Xerxes takes his third base location. Or if he's going to stay very much all in. As he's not droning up behind us, he's just adding on more Zerglings and more Banelings trying to break this. Baneling Cocoon is getting called out in the open here as he isn't going to be able to reinforce fast enough to defend these. And Combo looking like he just wants to counterattack once again. As his army supply is vastly in 20-11 his favor. As Pink Zerg does make his way in once again. Xerxes pushed back into his natural once again here. This queen is in danger of getting picked off, which it is going to get surrounded and picked up pretty quickly. The +1 melee advantage here did finish up, which is going to swing us in favor of Pink Zerg and Calmo. As the natural base is going to end up falling here. Xerxes finding a pretty decent Bailey connection there, but in the end, it is not going to be enough as GG will be called. Xerxes gets eliminated after knocking the Diamonds out, making the series 2-1 in favor of Insight Gaming. Guys, that match was so fast, it actually didn't even finish my countdown timer for the next match. Guys, I'll be right back. I gotta use the restroom before we get started on game number 4. Alright guys, I'm back. We're just waiting on a map pick from our next player for Insight Gaming. Apparently had a follow go through here. Two follows come in. 29 codes, thanks for the follow. There's a Maniac Pain has also followed. Thanks for the follow, guys. Welcome back again, folks, for game number 4 in the series of Insight Gaming versus Formless Sloths. And spawning down in the bottom right-hand corner of Carnivore is the blue Zerg pieces. And yes, another ZVZ. Pulling the extractor trick, it is Doombie. Spawning into the top left-hand corner is the pink Zerg pieces from Formless Sloths. We have Almo, the first Masters player out here for Formless Sloths. As Xerxes did quickly knock out both the Diamond players. Kind of puts Doombie in a bit of an awkward situation having to play against the first Masters player, but there's no reason that Doombie doesn't have a chance at beating him, as this is the first player, or first debut match in the Nydus League for Doombie, actually. Is going for this Hatch Gas Pool opener, as so is his opponent. Gas is finally going to get added on, so we have the 17 pool coming down here. But anyway, a little bit about Carnivore. Carnivore has a long stretch distance up the middle of the map. This is the most direct route between the 3 bases here on the other side of the map for your opponent. Third base location for all Zerg players usually ends up right down in this location. It gives control of this area, but at the same time, it also really exposes your third base to run by some basically 3 different angles. The Overlords are going to float their way across the map. So in general, Zerg players can get a very easily 5 base count here before they are forced to expand further up the map. So a little curious as to the way this game is actually going to go, because it is just going to be Ling Bling in the start. The real question is, if the first round of Lings come out here, Doombie making 10 Lings already with speed on the way. Speed just now starting up for Calmo, so Doombie will have the speed advantage, actually. Here, as speed is about halfway done for Doombie, and it looks like he is going to get ready to push out across the map here. I think he should just take advantage of that fact. Waiting for all his Lings to finish up. No Baneling Nest being added on just yet. He actually pulled drones back out of gas. Kind of an old Wings of Liberty strat to get your economy pumped up. To get a bit more mineral back, as it looks like he is just going to be very heavy with the Lings. 6 more are being added on. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Calmo's Baneling Nest is starting up on the low ground with a Spine Crawler behind it for that extra static defense. responding to the fact that he did get to scout the Overlord here, that there is a huge aggression coming in. Speed is going to kick in, so Doomie is going to have about a couple seconds speed advantage. As the Overlord is once again going to spot exactly where this army goes, but Baneling Nest is going to finish up, the Spinecrawler is going to finish up, and I don't see this run by getting too much damage done, to be honest, as another Spinecrawler does get added on. Queens are going to get tucked in here very much to this corner. I think it's very hard for him to get picked off, as Doomie is just going to push forward, trying to snipe out that one drone, but also throwing a lot of lings into the grinder here. As these queens are just being able to chew him up. We're going to focus down this unfinished Spinecrawler. Vic Bailey's get a bit of a disconnection there. Did pick off one or two with them. But Doomie just rallying more and more lings across the map. He's very much all in with this. He's not droning up behind us, going down the same path Xerxes did, just trying to hold off this ling aggression. As there is two queens left to defend here and a Spinecrawler, but defender's advantage is still giving Cal Mo the advantage in this fight. Looks like Doomie is just going to go home and get a Baneling Nest of his own finally. Realizing this is going to have to be very defensive Baneling Nest. As he is just going to continue to add on some more queens of his own and more lings. No Spinecrawlers in the low ground, which means this hatchery is very much exposed. As more Banelings are going to get morphed in before they even make it across to the natural base location of Doomby. Because Calmo could very much end the game here. As Doomby is very far behind on drones, just 20 to 16, now 21 to 16. Army supply 22 to 16. And here we go, folks. The Banelings are going to make their way in here, and Doomby just getting chased back into his main base, forcing some detonations on top of these Banelings. So he's trying to sacrifice some lings to clean up these Banelings, make it a little bit safer before that crazy connection happens. Oh, ew. Woo, don't make me clench up like that, man. That was very close to being disastrous detonation there. But this natural base is going to end up falling, which means Doomby losing two drones as well. May end up tapping out here very quickly as he does morph in a lot of Banelings of his own. Hoping for that critical connection as he is managing to shave off these Banelings of Cal Mo. As two more are going to start morphing in here, but will he try to snipe them? How many things to try and snipe them? As he is on one base yet again. Where Cal Mo is just going to wind up taking his third behind this, I would imagine, as he does know. Just when you're ahead, get further ahead, and he does know he's ahead now. As these Banelings are just kind of walking to their doom in hopes of fighting that Ling pack out in the middle of the map. These Banelings are also going to be able to start cleaning them up. Baneling connection there. It should end up sealing the deal as there's just more Banelings morphing in. And there's like only 3 lings out here as it looks like Doomby is going to try to retake his third or natural base. He should see this army outside here and realize he's not going to be able to get this. As that base is thrown down, wasting a Baneling on one Zergling. These Banelings are going to march up the ramp here, and this should end up being GG here. As Doomby, as Calbo can just continue to throw Banelings at this army and clean it up slowly. Get another decent connection there, shaving off the last of a few lings. 4 lings left here for Doomby to defend with, as his natural base is going to end up falling once again. All the ZVZ tonight, folks, is nothing but lings and Banelings here. As if they do make their way into the main base of Calbo here, looking for the drone line, looking to find the last of this army. And GG will be called, tying the series up 2-2. We'll be right back with you as we get our first Masters players for Insight Gaming. And from here on out, it is all Masters tonight. Alright folks, welcome back for game number 5. Currently the series is tied 2-2. And spawning into the bottom right hand corner of Arameta is the pink Zerg pieces of Calmo. Both players listening to GLHF is spawning into the top left hand corner. Making his debut just like Doomby was is the red Terran pieces. That's right folks, not a mirror match this time around. It is Hannibal from Inside Gaming. And we'll just barely get his 40 games in before this tonight so he could play. We are seeing that Reaper Expand build come out here. It is going to be some very standard openings all around. Hatch gas pool for Calmo here. Or Calmoe Mo. I don't know what to call him. I'm going to call him Cal. We'll go Cal. Yeah, Cal sounds good. We do have that Reaper Expand coming out for Hannibal. And Hannibal does kind of favor that Hellion play a lot. Reaper Hellion play. And yes, sir, from this point on, it is all Masters. The last divisions are in. 2 Masters players left this side. Matchup tonight is actually looking like it's going to be a very quick one. A ZVZ. Just taking a lot of quick games out the series. Been live for an hour here. We've already played 5 games or 4 games, and they've all been ZVZ. As we do see that command center come down here for Hannibal, he looks like he should be adding on his factory here very soon. Killing the ambient mob there. Always a very annoying thing to see those ambient mobs. Again, we do just see Cal over here droning up. Gonna get this Overlord position to make sure he can catch any drops coming out here. There's some interesting things to note about this map as this Reaper does make its way in. There are rocks everywhere. Once again, very rocky map. Seems to be a thing here in the Nydus League. There's a jump up here for the Reaper where this fence is actually broken. I'm not sure if he knows he can use that. As this Reaper is just kind of hanging out up front and he's not really doing anything. He needs to deny the third base with this Reaper. But the Cliff Reaper, get the third. Reaper, deny the third. I did it again. If you aren't going to push it to the drone line with the Reaper, you should just be using it to deny that third base. Because it is just going to get taken right in front of you. You will get the scout on it, but it's even better if you could stop that third base from being added on. Okay, as I was saying, as we do have factories and starports finishing up for Hannibal on the other side of the map, there are some rocks here on the map that open up your main base very heavily. In fact, we did see a lot of games get decided off these. As you do see the Hellions coming out here. I'm going to be curious if he's going to add in the tech lab for the starport. Because we should see a Banshee follow up with these Hellions. Which isn't actually getting scouted. This is actually pretty big, because all things considered. Our pink Zerg isn't scouting this out at all, but he will see the Hellions get added on. But again, as I was saying, these rocks around here just open up a lot of the map. Some close off the map. You can actually trap an entire army up here in the third base location. As well as knock down this rock here that also traps a lot more. It can actually close out a lot of the map area here. Did see that get used a couple weeks ago. Looks like Hannibal looking like he wants to move out on the map here. He does dodge his Zolog Watchtower. It looks like he did dodge the Overlords actually. So he's going to get spotted here. He's going to make his way into the third base. See that there is nothing here. A roach is actually about to pop up. He needs to see this. This Hellion will actually catch it. There are a lot of roaches being added on here. As a couple Hellions are going to get caught in the middle of the map as well. And already kind of off to a rocky start. Not the heaviest rocky start, but it is going to could snowball very quickly. As he is going to have to hold this off. Thank you for the follow, Mark Shitter. Sventer. Mark Sventer. I apologize. I think that's how you pronounce it anyway. Not sure exactly what you're going for with that name, but as the Zerglings do make their way into the main base, Hellions here are going to be able to shoot us away as the Roach aggression is going to come out. These depots on the low ground very exposed here. Killings off will supply block Hannibal, actually. Viking is going to get landed. And once again, adding on the Viking before the Banshee, this may already end up spelling GG here. Calmo once again showing just what it takes to beat You get the win. 12 SCVs are falling. The Banshee finally getting added on, which means he will end up being able to clean up this push. But this push is going so well, why not add on more? Because when you're ahead, get further ahead, as the wise man once said. Banshee here, not cleaning these up fast enough. 20 SCVs have fallen. This push was just not scouted at all. And that's just, in the end, it's what's going to end up killing off our Red Terran. These roaches just finding way too much damage. The Overlord, the supply depots on the bottom here, going to burn down. 2 more SCVs going to start getting picked off. There's not much to really discuss here. It's like Banshees is going to clean all this up. I'm curious. Thanks for the follow, Mark. I apologize if I butcher anybody's name. What is it? And folks, this is going to be pretty much it. As the buildings get lifted, there's no production left for Terran here. SCVs, just 2 Banshees out to try and clean this up. But with more and more units being added on for Zerg, GG should come out anytime now. I think he is just stalling. He did get a 3rd base up. Did it actually finish? It is about to finish. The funny part is this is unscouted. The Overlord is going to end up seeing it, though. I think he's banking a lot of the Mule Hammer into this. GG gets called, and the series is going to go 3-2 in favor of Calmo, as the last player for Insight Gaming is going to get prompted to come out here. As we will have, once again, another ZVZ, I imagine. Hopefully not. I just broke 100 followers tonight. Thanks, guys. This back over. Go up my match timer. Alright, folks, there is still one more. Even if Fox survives here, it's going to come down to match point for either side. If Fox can beat this or win this game. Or if Insight can win this game. I'm so out of it now. But as we get ready for the next match, I will be right back with you. Fun. Get that anyway, guys. Here we go. Last game of the night, possibly for Insight Gaming. It is 3-2. Currently, they are on elimination point, as this is the last player for Insight Gaming to keep them alive. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner, look at the wrong player. It's the red Zerg pieces of Still a Fox. And yes, we have all guessed it. It is another ZVZ. Falling into the top left-hand corner, also playing Zerg. It's the pink Zerg pieces. Hoping to close this series out. Calamo. From Formless Bear Sloths. Thank you for the follow, TS Fanning 21. Already we do see both players throwing down that hatchery. And here we go. This is something I've had discussions with some about Zerg players recently. Is where they expand on maps like this. When you have that pocket expand, do you expand to the low ground? Or do you want to take that safer expand in the back? And already we do see Calmo taking that safe expand. While Fox goes for a low ground expo to his third base location, which can be very risky in maps like this, as we do have that situation of it getting sniped out. Whereas, meanwhile, we're going to be able to get that third base for our pink Zerg in the top corner here very easily, while not risking our third base location or natural base. As we do have hatch gas pull on the way for both players. So both players opening up very similar, except for these hatchery locations. As we do have these laboratories around this map is honestly a bit more normal of a map. There's not too many crazy rocks around the map, but it is still a very odd and interesting one, as there is some gold bases around with some Zelnaga watchtowers chilling out here. Give that vision, make sure you can stay safe to some degree. But also these pocket expands, nothing can really reach across this except for maybe a siege tank, siege mode. As a siege tank and siege mode does have that 13 range. We do see the Overlord floating in here, and still a Fox is Queen going to pop out here a little too late to try and deal with it. But already Fox being the aggressive player here, sending out 4 Lings. Should start up a Baneling Nest of his own as well. There we go, Baneling Nests are down about the same exact time, but again, the expansion location for this could be very much the key factor in this fight, or in this game coming up. Fox getting some bruising on the Lings making their way across the middle of the map there, as Mo is going to send his own scouting Lings out to see that there is indeed a low base location, while Fox does get his third base down. Does make it a little bit easier to take that third base. These Lings on the other side of the map, however, looks like they've tried to deny that third, which will end up getting taken. Fox does get shoved away here as we do get up to that 3 base. Both players being a bit more macro oriented, but also wanting to get that Ling count, get that drone count up. But already showing that the natural base down here in the low ground is pretty much safe at the moment. Except for the fact we do have some aggression coming out of Mo here. The 6 Lings are making their way across the map. They will get scouted by Fox. This Overlord here. Thinking that there are 4 Lings here, but actually pulling them back? Question mark? It looks like a bit of an F2. Something another happened there, but Fox bringing out a whole lot of Lings of his own. Gonna start shoving them back to the other side of the map, saying, "Get out of my territory," as he does morph the Banelings on the low ground, which do not get scouted. The third base here can very much easily be picked off, as he does need to pick off a couple of these Banelings before they finish. He is going to get to work on his third base hatch, and if he gets this, all he needs to do is back off. He does not need to try and continue to push this. He has denied that third base. Fox in position here with his own Banelings coming up the ramp. Might get the best connection, might not. 4 Banelings for 3 Banelings. He does clean up all the Banelings. The army supply in his favor, 18 to 14, but this Baneling does finish up, which means one decent Baneling connection is all it's going to take to try and morph this the other way. This Overlord spawning that there are 2 Banelings morphing on the low ground is going to prompt a Calmo to move out here to try and stop this. But these Banelings trying to finish up, and if these finish up, he can get a huge detonation off here and just definitely swing his army favor back in his favor. There's 14 to 12 in favor of Fox right now. Worker count in favor of 33 to 30. Fox also adding on the Evo Chamber to get that +1 melee, possibly for that +1 Carapace, maybe to even transition into Roaches, but which hopefully he doesn't, as he is going into Lair. I don't like this decision for him to go into Lair this early. There's no Lair here. It's just Ling Bling all in at this point right now for Calmo, as he is teching up behind this, getting the +1 Carapace of his own. And Fox feeling safe enough. He made his mistake last time to go into the Roach Warren. This is what killed him before, is he died out to this. It was just constant aggression that killed him. But this map being a little bit safer on the 3 base means he might be able to get it off. As the Banelings here finding some huge connections on top of these Zerglings, which should prompt Mallow to just Reinforce some more links. Yes, here they come. Mo's is going to continue to reinforce it. This natural base location for Fox. This Fox does manage to hold this off and cancel some Baneling morphs of his own from Mo. Keep these links alive as Fox is just going to counterattack here. Roach is being added on. +1 carapace or missile attack has started up. Fox trying to find some damage. It is going to get pushed back once again. This Baneling connection getting here incredibly late. It would have been a huge connection had it landed otherwise. Fox just hit that hotkey, man. Like to hit that hotkey, you find a very decent connection. Both players is making that mistake and not getting the biggest connections they can. Like what you can get, man. The blast radius on these Banelings is actually pretty big. Taking out a Baneling there that was just morphing. More Banelings being added on slowly, but the Roaches and more Lings being added on. The Roach Warren does finish up for Mo, so we are going to transition into that Roach v Roach phase. The question is, where are Roaches for Fox? He does have the Roach Warren finished, but he's not adding them on just yet. As Mo, once again, posturing up outside Fox's base. Fox will see all this. He should be able to defend here with one good Baneling connection. He can wipe out this entire Zerg army. There's no Roaches being added on yet for either player. Fox is continuing to do exactly what he needs to do to hold on here. Well, look like he wants to try and stagger this next wave of attacks. Banelings are detonating, finding some decent connections. Some not so good. Trading out Banelings for Banelings is always a good thing. Here we go. Roaches should start to pop out here. Fox adding on the first one. This +1 melee or range is going to finish up. It comes down to a Baneling connection. That's all he needs here to swing this back in his favor. But more and more Lings are rallying across the map from our pink Zerg. And this upgrade is under siege and in danger of falling. The army supply 30 to 24 here. As he is just going to start to push his way into the main base. And that might be it. Has he broken Fox? As he Banelings are trying to morph on the high ground. The first Roach pops up, but isn't going to get much damage done at all. As more Banelings is connecting everywhere right now. And Fox in danger of just being knocked out here off the Ling Bling aggression. The same thing that has killed him in the past. As a Roach Warren is now under siege. He does save it. Does kill off it again. It just kills off his Banelings. You can't keep doing this. You need these Banelings to stay alive. That is all that was their defense keeping you in this game. As your Evo Chamber falls. Your Roach Warren is about to fall now, Fox. What do you have left for as these Banelings are trying to finish up here? Another Queen getting picked off in the main base. 2 drones already being cleaned up here. The economic damage is starting to tumble in favor of Calmo. And this is looking like it is going to be it. And still, it's like gaming. Looking like they're going to go down 4-2 here as 8, 10, 11 drones are just going to start to get picked off. Even more, the drone count continuing to climb. 25 drones down. 29 to 13 of workers. No Roaches popping out. Baneling just having to be rebuilt here for still a Fox. He is cleaning up the Zerglings in his main, but here come another wave. Banelings being added on, and this should be it. And GG will be called. Insight Gaming taking the series on a 4-2 deficit. As Formless Bear Sloths do take the win. And with that, guys, I think there's just 1 week left in the Nydus here before playoffs actually start. I phrase that Insight Gaming loses this only 4-2 deficit. Oh, Xerxes giving a quick 2-0 to Insight Gaming, but Calmo, the first Masters player, just coming in and showing exactly how this goes. As yes, there is 1 more here before playoff seeding starts. And the next matchup for Insight Gaming. Get on here. Actually, very interesting. Might have been the last week for Insight Gaming before they got eliminated, as they aren't on the schedule for next week. And with that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and start to close this stream out. Throw this up over here so transition out so I can move out of here. And with that, the series will be 4-2 in favor of Formless Bear Sloths. as Xerxes did kick the series off on a very good 2-0 run for himself, picking up those 2 wins. Gave Insight Gaming the advantage. It gave them time to get their game plan together, figure out who's going to go with who. I just don't know exactly what happened there and towards the end when both Masters players get eliminated like that. It's kind of an alarming thing. I guess Insight, we're going to have to go and look and better align the lineup there, as Doomy kind of got in a bad situation as well. No Diamonds left for Doomy to play. This kind of put him at a disadvantage, having to play the first Masters. But congratulations to Formless Bear Sloths, taking the series 4-2. Well played games, guys. Well played games indeed. As this was a very quick series indeed. It's a total of an hour and 20 minutes of gameplay here. Still watch the stream here, make sure I can time this out just right. Yeah, just a lot of ZVZ tonight. It's kind of depressing. You don't get to see any toss play. It's really upsetting to see a lot of Zergs. I mean, I respect Zerg fully. I really do. But at the same time, as a Terran player, I would like to see more of a mix-up in the matchups. As the series, once again, is closed out. 4-2 for Formless Bear Sloths. GG will be wish all around. Congratulations to them. And then, guys, I do believe that's it for Insight Gaming for the season. As we did start off very rocky. We had 2 walkover losses at the start of the season, which is kind of upsetting. We didn't actually know the season started until we were doing a friendly clan war against PsyX a while back. They got us called up to speed, which showed we were still alive and playing. But other than that, there should be a friendly clan war set up here very soon. I'm talking for, this is for Insight Gaming. Also, if anybody would like a friendly clan war with us as well, just for shits and giggles, you know, for practice, by all means, we're all game for that. But with that, guys, I am going to close this out finally. Wish you all a good weekend. Get ready for that Game of Thrones this Sunday, as it should be a big one. And once again, guys, as Mike Borheim would say, take care of each other.